AEFL, American Elite Fantasy League.
My name's Trevor Freimeyer. Team name, Marshall Matters.
Justin Yates, team captain, Green Eggs and Cane.
Brandon Oltmus, the Paul Baker Dream Team.
Ethan Barr, team captain, former Child Stars.
Captain Tanner Guthrie, team Old Smuggler.
Tyler Boner, and I am the Raging Boners.
My name is
Ben Parker.
and I'm putting together a special team, and I need me 8 soldiers. 8 Jewish American soldiers. Once we're in enemy territory, as a bushwhacking guerrilla army, we're going to be doing one thing and one thing only.
Win football games.
The Sankey Legs, Adam Edwards.
Will Wetzel, helmet to helmet contact.
Jared Fichter, LFPB.
Chase Kraft, Mike Cobb, and your Bush, and your host, and our weekly review starts now. What's up, guys? Welcome to Season 3, Week 2 of the AEFL, and man, does it feel good to bounce back with a Week 2 win and get the first win of the year as I get the win against Edwards there, 141.9 to 121.9. Former Child Stars picks up their second win of the year as the Green Eggs and Cam fall to 0-2 on the year, 136.7 to 95.7. And then you have Inglorious Bastards going 1-1, beating the 0-2 Marshall Matters 104.1 to 101.8. Helmet to Helmet Contact, who was the lowest scoring team last week, beat the highest scoring team last week, Old Smuggler there in a close game, 108.2 to 106.5. Then you have Liquor in the Front, Poker in the Back with the high score of the week, beating Grand Slam Breakfast Squad 171.9 to 117.1. And then wrapping it up, Paul Baker's Dream Team dreams up yet again another win there over the lowest scoring team of the week, the Raging Boners, who actually was second last week in points, but again, Brandon gets the win there, 114.6 to 84.7. So we had some close games in the fact that, looking a little bit closer into mine and Adam's game, Matt Forte didn't have as big a game as what you thought he was going to have, considering that Marshall and Jeffries there were supposed to possibly miss the game, and then Marshall comes out and scores 3 touchdowns, and Forte only picks up a handful of points. Kind of a little bit surprised there, but Giovanni Bernard there picked up the slack there for Edwards, and I mean, Edwards would have beat most teams in the league this week, just a poor matchup on his end. My team, on the other hand, Rivers had a great game. And then Ahmad Bradshaw saved my ass as Reggie Bush and both Reggie Wayne had low-scoring weeks. Now, getting into, I believe it was Justin Barr's game. Yates, man, your roster's hurting. You had 6 guys on your roster not even record a point. Not to mention A.J. Green is now hurt. No telling when he will actually be back. Obviously, everyone got hurt in week 2. Good call on Forsett. He didn't get very many carries, but I think he might have scored a touchdown to get you some points. But just a tough week overall and a tough start to the season, while Bard now is 0-2, as Jay Cutler throws 4 TDs, with 3 of those being in the fourth quarter in their big comeback. And then you have McCoy and Des Bryant there with 10 receptions, giving you big points. Just an overall good week for Barr, as I said, he goes to 2-0. Looking at Trevor and Ben's teams, you know, I don't know what to say yet. Last week, Deshaun Jackson's on the bench for Ben. You start him, and then he gets injured. However, I will say I did hear whether he's injured or not, he does plan on playing against the Phillies, and you would think he's going to be going 100% there, as he's probably feeling a little bit shaded from what happened in the offseason. But Trevor, man, what's going on, dude? You got to give up on Jamal Charles and that Kansas City defense. They've both been killing you all year. Not to mention, you know, you sit Ridley, and then what do you know? He goes off. I mean, but you can't. What are you supposed to do there? It's like Russian roulette between Ridley and Vereen. And then you give the fact that you have Bolden starting in your lineup, and he's not getting too many targets, but it's kind of interesting. You have Gates on the bench, who's had 2 straight big weeks. You might want to start thinking about 2 tight ends, one at the tight end spot and one in the flex, something to think about. And then, but luckily for you, Ben, Wes Welker is back, so now you can pick up another win for next week. But I will say they do play the Seattle Seahawks, so I don't know. Tough decision there, seeing how it's his first game back and all. Looking in at Tanner and Will's matchup, which was a little interesting considering the fact that Tanner had the highest points last week and Will had the lowest, and Will wins the game there by about 2 points. But Will, man, I would have to say kind of lucky there with another defense giving you negative points, man. I don't know what's going on. Miami looked good last week against New England, and they come out and look like shit this game. Not to mention, though, Matt Ryan also had a tough game, but your running backs and wide receivers carried you there to the win, while Tanner, on the other hand, got blanked by Colston. As we talked about at the house, man, maybe it was because of his fumble last week. I don't know, but he didn't get a single reception, which is a little bit concerning considering they played the Browns. Then you throw in Vereen, who went off last week, while Trevor's Ridley didn't. Now it's the other way around this week, and you basically get screwed out of your points there. Not to mention Seattle's defense. What the hell happened to them in San Diego? I don't know, but I mean, it's only 1 week. I wouldn't be too worried about it. Now looking into Jared and Dustin's game. Jared, you decided to play Sproles, and man, what a great acquisition on the Eagles' part. He's just flourished in that whole entire offense. Him and McCoy both. And the fact that he scored 30 points is just shocking. Well, I should say shocking considering it's the terrible Colts defense. But nonetheless, I mean, he puts up big points. Jordy Nelson had a ton of receptions. Even though Randall Cobb, who was on my team, picked up the 2 TDs there. But, who is it? Quick for St. Louis is very quietly getting you a lot of points reception-wise for St. Louis. But you got to figure, I mean, it's St. Louis. They got to throw the ball to somebody. And then Dustin, just all around, man. You got 27 points from your D. Everyone else kind of just filled in your average, like, mid-level points, 15, 17, 18, all around. Just, I mean, had a hell of a week, but what can you do when you play the highest-scoring team and you get the loss? Again, just like Edwards, if you play someone else this week, you get the win there. Just a bad matchup, bad timing with the schedule. Now, looking into the last game of the week, we had Boner and Brandon, as Brandon picks up the win thanks to Alfred Morris and Frank Gore having big weeks. Even though Michael Floyd had a rather disappointing week for the Cardinals, he is one of the main go-to guys there, so I wouldn't be too concerned about it. But you do have Decker and Steve Smith on your bench, who, once again, back-to-back weeks, putting up big points. Fellas, if you're looking for a wide receiver, go ahead and send Brandon a freaking trade, because, I mean, he's got him and Andy Dalton sitting on the bench, and I'm sure he could use another primetime running back or tight end to go along with his starting roster as he moves to 2-0, while Boner had the second highest points, like I said, last week, and gets lost here as Matt Stafford kind of had a quiet week. And Chris Johnson, who had a big first week, only scores very few points this week. I was a little surprised by that. And then I will say Watkins came out of nowhere and had a big game, so I would actually be looking forward to seeing him get repeat that going forward. Considering, you know, he's got 2 games under his belt his rookie season, he had that big game, and he is obviously the only guy to throw it to there in Buffalo. So something to think about. But again, fellas, we had some close games. It feels good to get some win under our belts. There's some guys who are still looking for that first win, but I'm sure it'll come along some point in the season, so don't get too disappointed that your team really fucking sucks. But now, let's get to this week's Hard Hit of the Week. Now, this week's hard hit of the week has to go to Yates. I mean, you have 6 guys on your roster not even score any points, including the guys on your bench. That pretty much fucking sucks. And then Cam Newton doesn't do too much on his return. But, you know, it's Cam Newton. He'll pick up the slack later on. But something to be concerned about when you have 6 guys score you 0 points and you start off the season 0-2. So, Yates, for this week, you get the hard hit of the week. Now, let's look into next week's schedule. Alright, looking into week 3, it looks like I'll be facing the defending champions from last year, the 0-2 Grand Slam Breakfast Squad, with Dustin there getting the projected win, while the Sankey Legs takes on the former Child Stars with Bar getting the projected win, 159-129. The 2-0 Liquor in Front, Poker in the Back takes on the 0-2 Green Eggs and Cam, with Jared there getting the projected win, 154-127. The 1-1 Raging Boners takes on the roommates of the group, Marshall Matters, there with, Trevor getting the projected win, 141-137. 2-0 Paul Baker's Dream Team faces off against the 1-1 Old Smugglers with a very close projected score, but Baltimus there gets the projected win at 141-140. Then the 1-1 teams Inglorious Bastards and Helmet to Helmet Contact face off against one another, and Will gets the projected there win, 124-104. And that is your matchups for next week. Alright, fellas, so some of us are still looking for our first win of the year, while some of us are now 2-0, 1-1, starting to see who the good teams are and the bad teams are looking like. I will say that the division I'm in, I can't remember who's all in it, but looking at all the points, we definitely have the toughest division compared to the other guys point-wise. I mean, the other division's not scoring any points at all. Something to pay attention to going forward when it comes to, looking at the playoffs. But fellas, as always, oh, forgot to mention, I will actually be on vacation next week, so we will be missing a week of the videos. I know everyone's upset. I'm clearly disappointed, but hey, I'm going on fucking vacation, so fuck you guys. But as always, I'll see you later, and in 2 weeks we'll do it all again. But for now, fuck you.
Alley Cat Production.